My dad started pre-season trying to sell players to make more money, whilst I was already bringing in fantastic players like Esposito. But my dad was still very hopeful, because he was bringing in an absolute quality midfielder in Samu to Burnley for just 21 million, as well as hiring Roy Hodgson as a scout for some reason. And of course, Dad loved to change his tactics, so began messing around with a new shape. It's Community Shield time for my Sheffield United side, and we go 1-0 up thanks to a horror show in Liverpool's defence. But in the second half, they managed to pull one back, and the game goes to penalties, where Virgil van Dijk took the final penalty and missed, meaning we lift the Community Shield. Happy days. Everybody was getting excited in Sheffield because takeover rumours were true and a Tycoon was looking to buy the club. Dad's director of football then suggested a brand new striker for him in the form of Beto, and that piqued his interest, prompting him to get the signing over the line very quickly. What didn't get over the line though was the takeover, as after a week of waiting, the deal fully collapsed.
Well, Dad, we had a rather busy transfer window.
Yeah, we did, yeah. I mean, I was in a lot of trouble, so I had to get some new players in, didn't I?
You did indeed.
Yeah.
But we also sold quite a lot. I think the business that we've done, we've both improved our teams quite drastically, actually. So let's have a look to see what I've done. £40 million on the outs there. I don't think... No, I didn't sell anybody else elsewhere. But I did sign a few players at the start of the window on the 11th there, as we can see. Got 3 players that came in. Salvatore Esposito. He's one of my go-to centre midfielders for a very good price. He's actually suspended because he got sent off quite early on in the season, but he plays naturally in 2 positions and he very much improves my midfield. Dennis Churkin came in as a good left back / left centre back option. I then ended up buying a better left back, so he doesn't even get my team anymore, but never mind. That was £12 million wasted. Alan Velasco from FC Dallas is a really good backup centre attacking midfielder. I've got 2 positions there from last season. I would have been silly if I changed my tactic because of how well it did, so I kept it. So that's a little bit of a spoiler, but I needed some good options there in that centre attacking midfield because I didn't have James McAtee anymore. So let's have a look then at the other signings I made. So going on the outs, I actually sold Vinicius Souza and Tom Davies, both for £15 million. Didn't use either of them last year. Norrington Davis for £9 million and a couple of others for not a lot of money whatsoever. But what I did bring in, so Ivan Azon, it got cancelled because of the takeover rumour. Yeah. But when the takeover didn't happen, I was straight on it again. Bang, I managed to get this guy. This is an upgrade from Ollie McBurney, who had a great season, to be fair. But if he's out of the team, I don't have any other options. So bringing in Azon means I've got a better option in there. But if he can't play, Ollie McBurney's there, and I know he can already do the job. He did it last
21.
season.
He's hell of a good player, I think, for 21.
I agree, yeah. He's a good jump and reach, bravery, heading, strength. That's what I need him for, that big target forward for the nod downs. Then I went to get that better left back in Mikalenko. Of course, Everton were relegated. We both took advantage of that.
Yeah.
More so Dad than me. I only bought their left back.
I did look at buying him as well, but I couldn't afford his wages.
Yeah,
so
that's right,
I did have a sniff around him.
So I've improved my left back position, definitely with him. Left centre back, Rasmussen. This is a really good deal. I always managed to find a nice little bargain there for £5 million. That's a cracking deal after only half a season there at Bromby. Ibrahim Sangare from Nottingham Forest for £35 million. That's my talisman signing, but alongside Esposito, that really £40 million on improving my midfield, because those 2 in there were probably my weak points, and that's arguably the most important part of the pitch. So both of those come in and really improve my midfield. And then this is going to be the starting centre attacking midfielder alongside my perfect Sheffield player, and that is Alberto Malero, who is a phenomenal attacking midfielder who's only 20 years of age, and playing in that role, he already has great attributes, but he's only 20, can improve quite a lot, tries killer balls, runs the ball often. This is all the types of things that I would like to see from that attacking midfield role. So I think I've improved the team quite a lot. As I mentioned, I haven't changed the tactic. I didn't feel like I needed to after the season I had. So I've actually switched it from that side. That's all I've done. So I haven't changed it, switched it from that side. Only because Malero, if I didn't do that, would go on the left-hand side, and I want the perfect Sheffield player to be the shadow striker for more goals and assists. So I've basically just switched them across. So I think that's if you ever need to do that, I think that's a really good little tip, really.
Yeah.
It's just switch them across like that. So that's basically what I've done. It's identical, it's mirrored. You know the tactic works because it works on the left-hand side is where it does on the right. It's nice and easy. So that's what we're looking like right now. Let's have a look and see what Dad's transfer window, because you had, I'd say, probably a busier one than I did. You still got £8 million left if you wanted to come back anyway. £58 million there. Did you sell anybody? You did. A couple of players that went out there at the start of the season. Josh Cullen, Muric, the goalkeeper as well. So there's a few that went out for a little bit of money. And you spent quite nicely. You brought in Jesus Gallardo, left back.
Yeah.
That was the left back you went for instead of the one that I got.
Yeah.
He looks horrible, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
Jesus.
does, yeah.
I won't want to mess with him. Then you've got Samu, who we're both familiar with from Mallorca. Phenomenal player. Great on the ball as well. Young as well, only 23. Good talent. That improves your midfield straight away.
Well, that's where I felt that I was a little bit weak.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to get in. I've got another one in as well.
Yeah, Alexis Blin is another one.
Yeah,
who plays two roles.
He's more of a reserve one because I've got another one in as well. So
yeah,
I was just making sure that was quite strong in the midfield.
Flynn Downs being another one who can win the ball quite well. Good mental attributes from Flynn. And then another 76 million was spent because you sold 58.
Yeah.
Weghorst went, Koleosho went, wingers went. If to put it bluntly, a lot of wingers left the club.
I do play wingers though in my formation, so that gives it away where I'm going to go.
So Bazoa came in, who's a good midfielder.
Yeah.
He has been coming off the bench, I think, quite a lot.
He also was a reserved centre back for me when I had an injury there, didn't he?
Did,
so he dropped into that position as well.
Obviously, Mike Trezor was already a deal that was done, the loan that turned into a £50 million move. Cohen Casteels was, again, something that you've already seen. But this one, Beto, £20 million.
Well, I had to get a striker in, a good one in, and like you said, we took advantage of the Everton dropping down a league, so he popped up, and so he's in my team now.
And has he been scoring? Well, he's got 2 in 4 in the league, but 5 in 5 in total. So yes, Beto has been scoring much more than what he does for actually Everton. Courtney House for 525k is a good backup centre back.
Just backup one there.
Plays left-sided as well, and he's English, so he suits the homegrown quota. Juranovic, who is a cracking right back who can fill in at left back.
Yeah.
Set piece taker too.
Yeah.
Which can underestimate really. Good pace and acceleration and strength. Then we've got, speaking of strength, Awonyi for £20 million.
So I've just made my strike force, like you said when I
horrible.
Horrible to play against.
Yeah. Imagine having Awonyi who's fast, strong, good off the ball, quick, dribbling, and then you've got obviously Beto as well. He's very similar to that. Great pace, great strength, great jump and reach. He's 6'4". Just those two up front, it's just I would hate to be a centre back.
Yeah, so that's what I'm looking
next
for,
to those two, because you've gone for a narrow diamond. Interesting stuff. We've actually got one support role. We know Dad is not a huge fan of the support role. So the perfect Burnley player goes in there. We've got Samu in the box to box. Brownhill still on that right hand side, but yeah, some good options off the bench. Obviously, that you've brought in.
I've made it a stronger squad, so I'm just hoping now that they'll be a little bit better in the league, then I can build on it again next season.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the league, of course, you just scraped out from relegation last season. Hasn't started too well this year, Dad.
No.
One Premier League win, which was against Bournemouth. The 2 goals from Beto there. But a loss to Aston Villa, a loss to Chelsea, and a loss to Spurs, who are currently sitting top in the 91st minute as well.
Yeah, so I wasn't too bad about that one, but I mean, it was at home as well, so only because it was Spurs.
Yeah. And no goals yet.
My guy hasn't scored yet.
He hasn't scored any goals. It's quite interesting to see the development, which we'll do a comparison as well of how... I mean, look how good your player already is. Look how good he already is. That's absolutely disgusting, isn't it? How much he's improved.
If he's
already.
looking good in my team, what's yours going to be looking like then?
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's not down to how it could be. Obviously, they might get better at the set. I mean, he is looking really good.
He's scoring goals for you as well.
Yeah, he is scoring goals. Mine so far is 2 goals and 2 assists. But if you do the comparison against each other, which I think you can do from this, I'll have to work out how to do it in a sec. It's quite... I know why. I need to go on the actual league and do it. It's quite funny to see the growth on how they're doing together, isn't it? Compared to, obviously, any other player, because they are supposed to be very much identical. Your one is slightly better on the overall, on that part. But if you look at attribute-wise, it's so close.
Yeah.
Yours is just pipping me on a few of them, by the looks of it. And I've got a couple higher mentals than you. and obviously the higher finishing.
One of the things I did bring up to you about this as well, which would be the highest value. I mean, yours has jumped by value compared to mine. Look.
Yeah. But I guess it might be because of the season he had last year, scoring the goals and everything that he did. So yeah, I mean that's something that we're gonna have to track each time, to be honest, each season, see how they're doing.
Yeah,
because it's quite funny, to be honest. None of us have touched the player traits yet. I think I might have a go on that while I'm right here, right now. I think one of the things I might look at doing is sticking some player traits on. You know, the light speed, the offside traps and stuff like that. It's some stuff that I really like doing. So that could be something that we look into.
Yeah, definitely.
This season. But my schedule, I've been okay. Obviously, I beat Liverpool on penalties at Wembley. I lost there to Newcastle. Picked up a point against Arsenal at home, even though they scored 2 late goals, which was rather annoying, really. Blackburn was a nice 2-1 away win, but that's where Esposito got himself sent off. It didn't matter against Fulham, though. We still won 3-1. We don't play each other until October, but of course, I'm in the Europa League, so we can have a look at the fixtures that I've got for Europa League this season, see whether I stand any chance. Partizan, Motherwell, Union Berlin, Club Brugge. I've got an okay run at the start, and then there's a couple of difficult ones at the end there. A trip to Besiktas there, which is going to be horrible. Hosting Galatasaray, thankfully.
You don't want to go to hell, do you?
No, absolutely not. And then going to Braga and hilarious stadium that we both really enjoy. So yeah, some big games at Bramall Lane to win, but so far Dad is struggling. He needs to pick up some early points.
Yeah.
So let's see how this second season gets on.
Dad's Burnley side really struggled to pick up some form to begin with. However, he did manage to snag a couple of wins when Mr. Perfect Burnley got himself involved and started scoring some goals, which by the time we got to the new year helped Dad pull himself out the relegation scrap. For now. Meanwhile, I was having a lovely time in the Europa League, winning my first 6 games in the competition. But both of our teams were underperforming in the Premier League, which means the matches against each other made more of an impact than just the points for beating each other. So utilising the growth of our perfect players is going to be so important in these early years, as the development is absolutely phenomenal on both.
Dad, a much better season for you this time round.
Yeah, a little bit happy with that. I was still close to that bottom of that league. I just couldn't get above 14th.
Yeah.
Every time I got up there, I would go on a losing streak of about 3 or 4 games. Bang, have a 1 win, and then go up again and back down again. So
you'd end up like losing against the terrible teams and then batter Man City.
Yeah.
I think you beat Man City twice.
Yeah, I think I did, yeah.
It's crazy. I
Liverpool
finished in
in the
11th. I come down from where I was last season, but European football, and that's what happens when you get European football. Although, yes. Also, I'm seeing the likes of Wolves, Fulham and Bournemouth going down and thinking they've got some nice players that I'd like to get my hands around as well. Speaking of the results between each of us, though, you won 11. You didn't beat me.
No.
You can see the results that you did have, though. You battered Man United 5-0, Arsenal 1-0, Man City 5-2. I think you beat them in the Cup as well.
Yeah.
Newcastle 2-0. So you didn't beat any of the... Oh, you beat... to be fair, you did beat a few of them that went down.
I beat Fulham,
yeah. Drew a few games with unbeaten against Arsenal.
I beat Tottenham, drew out Tottenham, and they were top of the league at the time.
Yeah, away from home, Chelsea were actually champions in the end, which is quite surprising, actually. You lost 22. There was one of them. I got one of them, 16 wins. So that was a 3-2 away win.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you won at your ground 3-0.
Yeah, so we'll have a look at that. Yeah. Okay, season profile. Mr. Perfect Sheffield has the highest amount of assists, which is another few points. That's huge. Very well done. I'm quite surprised with that.
Yeah.
He's also had the 3rd highest average rating in the club as well, so that's amazing. So I've got a point for finishing higher in the league, 2 points for beating you, I think, and then 1 point for Mr. Perfect Sheffield getting the most assists in the league there, which is amazing. So we're on Burnley. Let's see other competitions. Who knocked you out? Brighton Hove Albion in the 4th round, 3rd round by Manchester City.
Yeah, didn't do very well at all in the Cups.
No. Let's have a look at Sheffield United, though. How did I do? The Carabao Cup. Semi-final by Roma. So close. I had a bad year in terms of like league form. 55 points, 11th in like second half of the table, but that was huge.
You're sticking to the guns of being a cup king, aren't you?
Yeah.
You
well, I lost that for a while.
Only when I'm in Scotland.
Yeah. Quarter-final, semi-final, knocked out Leicester across both legs 7-0. And then in the final, I beat Newcastle 3-1, which was absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
Mr. Perfect Chef was actually the top scorer of that competition. And that's the added bonus as well. When you go further in these competitions.
Yeah, play more games.
Play more games, he scores more goals. So, we're on Sheffield. Oh, actually, I want to have a quick look at my Europa League run. So, the league phase. Wow. 7 wins. And I scored a lot of goals. Drew 1 against Galatasaray at home. Scored 29 in total.
I don't think my boy's going to be anywhere near your guy.
Well, it doesn't look like he actually scored that many. He got a good average rating there. So Cameron Archer was an absolute beast.
I did see he won a Player of the Month, didn't I? In one of the months that was going through. So.
And we did see that Cameron Archer won Young Player of the Year. Yeah. Wasn't the guy that I wanted it to be, unfortunately. So after that, I mean, Roma only lost 1-0 across both legs, annoyingly. Would have played Spurs in the final, and Spurs won.
Yes.
Quarter-final knocked out Sevilla, who are kings of this competition.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
The round of 16 are knocked out by Leverkusen.
Ooh.
Wow.
That's a good work.
That is, yeah. Congrats to Celtic there, knocking out Midtjylland, the only one on the left-hand side. So, Sheffield United, how many goals did he score? 31 with 17 assists. Obviously, I made the blunder of thinking that you could do the player traits when they have a transfer, but you can't. So, I need to take that back. You cannot add player traits. However, he is growing to an incredible type of player there. Absolutely beautiful to see. We've got 31 goals, 17 assists to beat. Dad, yours got 11 and 6. You are not utilising him very well at all.
Playing him in the same position as you.
But I mean, mine's grown better, I think, as well.
Definitely, yeah.
How many did he played? All 38 games. He played enough. He did play enough, but he's just not doing enough for you in terms of output. He needs to start. You need to start utilising him more, because I'm picking up easy points here. I mean, attribute-wise, very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar indeed. There's not much in it. You got a little bit on the right-hand side, which is yours. Bit more on the left. But yeah, you're not utilising him very well at all. You need to start thinking about that in terms of your tactic, because your goals are all coming from Beto. He got the second highest, which was only 11. It's nowhere near, really. So that's an extra 2 points.
So that's 34 goals in a season between 2 players, and your 1 player had 36.
Yeah. Not great.
No.
Not great. Your transfer budget for the 3rd season, though, £46 million. It's time to start turning that around, I think.
Yeah, I think it is.
Come on, I need some competition, or else this is going to be very boring. My transfer budget next season, 66. And I'm in what I would say a favourable competition, the UEFA Conference League.
Yeah.
Because if I can't get the Europa League, I'll come close. Conference League, I should be doing alright in that.
Yeah.
Should be doing alright.
I think I can tell you how many points I've got already.
Yeah. It hit a lot. So, obviously 3 points there. We've already calculated how much we've done in terms of the league form, but I think let's see how many times we did play each other. So we're on mine right now. I beat you 3-0, as you mentioned there.
Yeah.
In my home leg, and 3-2 in your ground. So that's another 2 points there. You're taking a bit of a battering at the minute.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the points.
Dad is really struggling so early on and scored 0 points to add to the 1 he already has from Season 1. However, with a lot of points from all angles, including cup wins and league top assister, I am adding 11 points onto my total, which takes me to 20 after 2 seasons.